something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, Peaches! Oh, welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
Ho there, listeners. Welcome to Fix It. Out there in Blisteria, yes, gather around your bonfires in which we are psychically projecting this show into the flame.
Oh,
And,
wow. Submit it for the approval of the
yes, throw your
society.
Yes, throw your grave dust into the fire and tune in to your favorite podcast. Yes. Yes, the only podcast powered by dark magic. Welcome to Fix It.
This month only.
Yes, indeed. It's because it's Halloween season. It's a spooky, scary.
Well,
Whoa.
it kind of wanted to be spooky scary.
Well, this one was so spooky and how bad it was. Because it lit a fire of rage inside of my heart that will never be extinguished. Welcome to Fix It. Hi, I am Jay. That's Adam. You may know us from our YouTube Spawn reaction channel. Like we're the spawn of YouTube. That doesn't work. It doesn't.
It's close.
You may know us from our YouTube channel Previewed, or you may know us just from having a nice firm handshake.
We have good handshakes, Jay.
But this is our show, Fix It, our podcast, where every week Adam and I take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just needed to embrace the powers of their own suit, and we fix it. This week we are going to be fixing 1997's comic book classic, Spawn.
Wow, this movie, yeah. You know, Spawn came out in 92?
Yeah,
This is a real quick turnaround.
Yeah. It was such a smash hit when it came out.
Yes, it was.
It was a big deal.
Yes, it was.
Like it definitely left like a culture. It was a cultural touchstone there for a little while, and it was like it felt like the new Punisher. It was like the hardcore comic, you know.
It was the hard, yeah.
And everyone was just like,
boy.
"Oh man,
some stuff happened. Those early
you
issues. Yikes!
Yeah, are you into like are you one of the cool comic book kids? And
Do you like Image Comics?
You're reading Spawn? Yeah, guys, Spawn. Yeah, we are fixing that this week, and
Sweet baby Jesus in the manger needs it.
it really wow.
It's.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
All right, please do.
This is the worst movie we've ever watched, and
This is the worst
and
movie?
I am aware. I am aware. I have said that many times.
You have at least a handful.
But we did the watch along last week of Mortal Kombat because we have a banked episode coming out.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, for Comic Con. Yeah,
And I thought it was on Max. It was not.
it's not.
It was. They switched October. They switched it out because when I was setting everything up. I specifically picked it because it was on Max.
Come on!
And then everyone showed up to the watch along on the Discord. If you haven't joined the Preview Discord, go ahead and hop on in.
Yeah.
It's the best community on the internet. And we do watch alongs every Wednesday night at 8 of whatever we're doing on the show. But nobody could find it. And so I was like, I felt like such a butthole. I felt so bad. Because I was like, guys, I swear this was here. Like, I swear. And everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, no, please. Please.
No, wait.
Please do the watch along with me.
I don't want to watch it alone, please.
And I will say that one is actually Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a so bad it's kind of fun.
Yes. Yeah.
This movie I had to watch on my own because we were fixing it a little bit ahead of time for Comic-Con. And this movie filled me with so much rage.
Oh, it's not good.
It's so bad. It's so bad that like yeah, this is easily the worst thing we've watched. Over Super Mario Brothers, over D&D 2001.
Really?
This is easily the big, like...
Wow.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Those other two movies that I mentioned that I've previously said were the worst things we've watched, at least their plot line was somewhat coherent.
Sure.
At least the story structure had made some kind of sense.
Sure.
This didn't follow any kind of storytelling conventions that really made me like our main character, fully understand what's going on, really embrace the world in any way.
Yeah.
This movie did not cover any bases
It didn't.
in regular storytelling.
It didn't.
And the CG was bad, and I can get over the CG being
Sure.
bad when I understand what the world we're living in is.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Like when Spawn is like, he has to transform his hand into octopus hands so he can climb on a wall to avoid gunshots. Oh, and then hide, become invisible. But then just miraculously fly away.
Yep.
So he got shot at for 5 minutes and then flew away. What's going on, movie? Are you just showing me powers? Get out of here. I really didn't like this movie. I thought John Leguizamo's portrayal, I appreciate he was committing really hard to what he was doing.
He was doing his
but
job.
But they never explained why he was there.
No.
He was just there.
Yeah.
And creepy and scary.
Yeah.
He was just there. They never, by the time they explain it, I was like, we've been an hour in. We can't. Okay.
Yeah, we got to get to
We can't.
We got to get to your favorite segment first, bud.
We got to get to my absolute most favoriteest. If I had to pick one and send the rest down the river, this is my
Oh my God, in a little bonnet?
My absolute, in a little bonnet. Yep.
All
My
right.
favorite segment. It's where Adam and I connect as friends. You know?
Mostly.
Yeah. It's that part of the show where Adam and I take a second and just reflect on our lives and become closer. It's a time for fellowship, everyone. It's my favorite segment called Roll for Convo. Our producer Brian has picked out 20 points of conversation, and he is prepared those for us, and we are going to roll a 20-sided die, and I forgot a die, so I'm using my phone. Come at me. You know what? I don't need any notes today, everybody. And the roll is an 18, a gentleman's 18.
18. All right. Question number 18. What movie franchise that never really got going would you have liked to see succeed? A movie franchise that never really got going.
I have a couple of answers that I think some of them kind of quote unquote got going, but they got going in a way that I didn't really enjoy.
Okay.
Well, I suppose they're actually still making movies in that milieu. So
What was the first thing that popped into your head?
I would have loved for the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to like go in a direction that like would have actually I would love it to have gone in a direction that the first movie set up.
Yeah.
In like a hyper serious, like, kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second one, it just took it all the way into the silly, the way into the and it really frustrated me that it went that direction.
Yes.
Truthfully, I would have loved to have seen what direction the 1997 Godzilla movie would have gone in.
The one with Matthew Broderick?
Yes, because they set up for a sequel really hard.
They did.
Really hard.
There was one egg remaining.
I would love to have seen them really try at a trilogy. And what that would have looked like. Because I think it would have been buck wild.
That movie was not the worst.
No. Oh, do you know what other movie I wish had gotten a full-on franchise?
Oh, okay.
I would love to have seen a trilogy of Sky High movies.
Oh,
remember Sky High?
I never saw it.
Oh, dude, it's here of the Disney Channel original movies.
Oh, okay.
It's like maybe the best one.
Really?
It's actually really good.
Okay.
It's actually really good. It's a great flick. It's just superhero high school. And
yeah. Well, it's the X-Men pitch you always want.
Kinda, yeah. But it's a really fun little romps, and I think they could have really built that world really fun.
Man, what?
I know this is a tough question because I feel like there's a lot hovering out there.
People have really tried. I mean, there's the Pokemon one. We talked about that last couple weeks ago with our Detective Pikachu episode.
Oh, absolutely.
So we could easily use more in there. And this is coming from a non-fan of Pokemon.
They just did such a good job.
They did an amazing job.
Like, it's really...
boy, what other franchises do we do? Turtles was such a really good idea, even though they are making... But, like, in that actual, like,
that first movie.
Good first movie. Boy, there are a lot of movies or stories that needed keep talking. I had an idea, and you obliterated the idea that I had because I wanted to be present for you, and I was I'm going to hold on to this.
No, it's hard to. That's the thing about the kind of stuff that we make is that sometimes it's really hard to listen because we are with the reactions and with the podcast. A lot of it is thinking on your feet, which is kind of hard to do when somebody else is also presenting an idea.
Mm-hmm. Jibbin and or jabbin at the same time.
When you're jibbin and or jabbin.
I mean, clearly, another answer, DC. The more time goes on, I'm still sad that DC has not gotten their stuff together.
Yeah.
And it still remains to be seen if they will even get their stuff together, because who knows. But I would love for DC to have started strong and continue to be viable instead of whatever weird place that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, Henry Cavill deserved better Superman movies because he was really good. What other movies?
I would have loved to have seen. That's fine. We can edit this part out because I feel. Here's the thing. I feel like there's a right answer here.
Yeah.
And I can't seem to wrap my brain around it.
Yeah.
Because I feel this is the textbook prompt that I am going to halfway on my walk home go, oh no, and I might even edit in what I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what, bud? I am going to give you the opportunity, if you would like to if you think of something before this episode has to drop on Tuesday, I am more than happy to slot it in.
Tape myself
Just put it on your phone. I don't know if I like the precedent set that we don't have to think of it in the moment.
Sure.
But I'm going to give you that opportunity.
Here's another answer.
Okay.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Cavill and I think the cannibal was in that movie. And that was good. I think Guy Ritchie wrote that movie.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I could have used some more of that because it's a 60s TV show that no one really cares about too much.
No,
that
for
it's like,
sure.
hey, you can
And that
do
movie
more
was
with it.
really cool.
It was a good movie.
That movie was great.
That was a good movie.
I also think not even thinking in the superhero or action franchises.
Sure.
I would have loved to have had a trilogy of Anchorman movies that came out in a timeline that made sense with the success of the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Anchorman 2 was not unfunny.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a bad comedy. It just was 5 years too late.
Yeah.
And I would have gone and seen Anchorman 2 and an Anchorman 3, absolutely. And I would also argue I would have loved to have seen them continue on the Ocean's 8 franchise.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think that was a terrible movie.
Ocean's 8? No,
Yeah.
it was fine.
It was not bad.
It was not bad.
It could and much like how Ocean's 11 was good, but as those movies went, Ocean's 13 is an incredible movie.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. That movie gives you everything you need.
Oh, okay. I don't remember it as well as the first.
But
two.
I'm saying as those movies go on, I just feel like the fact that we don't have a heist movie every year is kind of stupid.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Whether or not you are super into them all the time, it is maybe I think my favorite. Oh. This is 100% my answer.
Okay.
The fact that we never got more Italian Job.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude, the remake of the Italian Job.
Yeah, the remake, yeah.
Is maybe the best heist movie ever made. That movie rules.
Okay.
That movie rules.
Oh, here's the answer. The 21 Jump Street films.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. The fact, man, the amount that the internet was talking about a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover, and then nothing ever is ridiculous to me. Ridiculous.
Well, the end of the second movie, when they just have that montage of all their stupid sequel ideas, is some of these are hilarious. Just go for it. Have some fun.
Uh-huh.
But also, yes, the Men in Black idea was Why not?
Like I know Jonah Hill's in a little bit of hot water right now, but
Oh, is he?
oh yeah,
Oh, I can't keep track of all these stuff.
that's my job. Don't worry.
Okay, great.
That's what I'm here
Thanks,
for.
bud.
Yeah, I have my finger on the pulse of the youth of America.
Hello, fellow youths.
Hello, youths. Let's
jam.
dab on them, right?
Yeah.
I got the Riz.
Yep. Watch you floss.
No cap.
I'm gonna floss.
No cap.
No cap over here. We don't know how to cap, Jay. Which I believe works because we don't know how to lie.
No, you're using it properly.
I think I am using it
no,
properly.
you're using it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now I can. I don't have to. We don't have to edit that in. I feel like we answered that sufficiently, and I can edit out all the flopping that we did in the middle there. but questions. And that's been Roll for Convo.
Oh, has it? Okay. And we're done.
And I get to end it. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, look at
Get
you.
it started and ended. You know. Yeah. Look at that structure. How you feel about that, producer Brian? Yeah. Did you like that? Was that good for editing purposes?
Better Love liked it.
Yeah. I'll probably have a lot of notes for you on how to cut around what just happened. Maybe we won't, you know? Maybe them slap
it's all
goblins
gold.
just going to slap them up.
Yeah, maybe it's all gold.
I don't
It's
know,
all gold,
man.
Jay.
I'm yipping pretty hard today. I don't know. Can you feel it?
I can feel it.
Oh, I was
definitely-
hoping,
you had a-
hoping you were going to
You
say
had a full
no.
plate of yippee beans
Oh, I
before you
got
showed
a
up.
full plate of yippee
You
beans.
get the yip beans.
Oh, man,
no.
I didn't want to eat the yippee beans
I-
today. But I don't like to waste food, so I ate the yippee beans. Oh, Leslie, I ate the yippee beans. Anyways, so Spawn.
So Spawn. I have never seen you hate a movie.
Oh, I was just like live texting.
You were live
shoot.
texting me because
'Cause
I
I
could
was
tell. I was
just
like, oh
so
boy, he
mad.
doesn't like this movie.
I was so pissed off. I just from jump.
Yeah.
I did, and it's not even about like the care. I think Spawn's interesting. It's not even about the CG. It's just like I was like, who storyboarded this movie? Like, why are they telling the story like this? It's borderline incoherent.
Yeah. It's the
Like, was I supposed to know about this character going into this movie? Were they banking on that in some way?
possibly.
I mean, that's the only explanation I have.
I mean,
for
it only coming out 5 years after the comic started, and be such a cultural phenomenon at the time. Because like I know there were a lot of people very upset because like this guy's a hellspawn. Oh
Yeah.
the youth. And I was like, now Image Comics, yeah, ooh, cool. This is the adult stuff, ha ha ha. But man, yeah, it's even knowing the story going in. I remember seeing this, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. This is just absolutely terrible. And now seeing it again 25 years later is like, oh, this is even worse than I remember. Because like this isn't how you tell a story, man.
at all.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to tell the comic book story in a movie version, but the movie's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not enough time.
No. It could be.
Maybe, but it's not. Turtles was 100 minutes. The first Turtles movies was longer than this.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh. I just...
Before we get too much farther, yeah.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Put down that plate of yippee beans, baby.
Put the fork down, Jay. I know those yippee beans are pretty tasty. Ba-ba-ba. I don't know what the heck just happened.
I don't know either.
Oh, would you like me to?
Yeah, you...
Okay,
Yeah. Did you... Oh, put down... Oh. I feel like I'm such a bad podcaster today. I feel like I'm so bad at this.
You're not bad at all, Jay.
Oh, okay. All right. Before we get into Spawn, why don't we go to our producer, Brian, who's our sweet, sweet boy, and
Hanging by a
also
thread.
hanging by the thinnest of threads over a bottomless pit of despair.
Oh.
Oh, my God. What are we gonna
And
do?
wailing souls.
What a totally righteous dude who happens to be just 2 inches from the edge of a cliff that he knows nothing about. Why don't we throw it to our producer, Brian, for to learn a little bit more about the Spawn franchise. And Brian, roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage.
Thank you, gentlemen, and under-the-weather producer Brian here, because today we're trying to fix 1997 Spawn. Now, before we dive deeper into Spawn, if you're confused about why the guys are talking about Mortal Kombat Annihilation like it hasn't aired yet, well, yes, we switched the order of episodes. Anyway, back to Spawn, which was written by Alan B. McElroy and directed by Mark A.Z. DePay, starring Michael J. White, Martin Sheen, Melinda Clarke, and John Leguizamo. It cost $45 million to make and made $87.9 million at the box office. Now here are some fun bean facts about Spawn. Spawn creator Todd McFarlane makes a cameo appearance as a homeless man in the movie. McFarlane also had a ton of creative control on this movie. Now, Spaz Williams, who created the T-Rex effects in Jurassic Park, was in charge of the animation of the cape on this one. Now, the original cut of this movie was R, so they toned down the violence to get a PG-13 rating. Now, there was a Spawn 2 in development that never got made. There is a current iteration of Spawn trying to get itself out of development hell. And if you care, this has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.2 average out of 5 on Letterboxd. Now, a couple things before we hand it back to the boys. Sky High is a full feature film from 2005, not a Disney Channel movie. How dare you? Also, a franchise that I would love to see continue on that didn't do too well. We actually covered it, Van Helsing. Where would Van Helsing go? Also, I would love if the Dark Universe didn't fail, but it is what it is. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brian.
Good, decent job. Acceptable job, Brian.
I appreciated it. I liked it.
That was a lot of information about Spawn.
It sure was.
Boy, it didn't, yeah, man, that was, oof.
It actually, I mean, it doubled its budget. I mean, what else can you hope for?
True, but still.
But still. But still. For those of you who at home who maybe have not seen Spawn, we'll get you caught up real quick in my absolutely favorite segment, the best segment we do, entitled Plot Drop.
We may be tag teaming this one.
Yeah, because it's incoherent.
Yeah,
Because it's incoherent.
I may jump in with what they were trying to go for, so you guys understand at home when we actually do our fixes. You have a better understanding of what the story is.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
Jay's gonna have the first run at this.
Okay, there's a guy named Al,
That's
and
right.
he is an assassin, and he ends up attacking and killing some people on a plane, and there was a lot of collateral damage that he was not aware of. He goes back to his point person about the collateral damage. Apparently, his point person, Martin Sheen, Michael Sheen. Which one is he? Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen.
President Bartlett.
Evil President Bartlett.
Very evil.
Obviously had his beard and hair dyed. It's like aggressive.
Oh yeah,
It's like aggressive.
Yeah.
It looks like he's wearing wigs, but he's not.
He's had his hair dyed and chewing on all of the scenery.
Yeah.
Just
And he is his handler because he works for government, apparently. But apparently Martin Sheen is being manipulated by the otherwise known as Violator, which is apparently the clown suit is the suit that he wears to fit in, even though he looks scarier as the clown than he does in his actual form, in my opinion.
That's true.
And he is being manipulated into that. He needs to. He is going to be promised all of the wealth and prosperity. He just also has to kill Al on their next mission, to give Al to Violator, and so they go
to the demon Malborga.
sure.
Yes.
Sure. And so they go to North Korea. You know how easy it is to get into
It's very easy to get
North
into North
Korea.
North Korea.
And all of the intel that they have on North Korea, of all places.
Very easy to get in there.
Yeah. They go to, apparently there is an issue with some chemical weapons facilities that are there, but apparently according to Martin Sheen, that exploding them is what they need in order to, for test subjects on this disease that they're creating. And in the process, they betray Al and kill him, and Al goes to hell.
Oh, no.
Al goes to hell, but then we don't see any of it. He wakes up in the back alley of a street.
Yep.
And as an audience member, we're not sure if it's a extraplanar situation or if it's Earth. For me, I thought he was like in purgatory or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
Considering there's a magic man in a weird coat and hat who happens to glow green every once in a while.
Who's clearly magic from the very beginning.
Yeah, so I was like, are we on Earth? What's happening right now? He goes there and the man in the hat and coat tries to help him. He says no. He's also burned and charred and looking weird, and apparently is a hellspawn now. He goes to his old fiance's house, Wanda, and Wanda has married his old handler, and
his old best friend,
whatever. And they have a kid, but then they kick him out, and then Violator takes Al and teaches him that he is a hellspawn, and he embraces his powers and gets his spawn suit. And then we flash back to what happened while he's been gone for 5 years.
Yes.
Which is explained so convolutedly and poorly. And we find out that he made a deal to lead the armies of hell in the great war that they're prepping for, in exchange for power.
No, he wanted to see his wife again.
Yes, he wanted to see Wanda again.
So
I don't think they were married. I think they were engaged.
I thought they were married.
Okay. But he wanted to see Wanda again. So he made that deal, and he goes back, and then he decides to get vengeance on the people that killed him. He crashes a dinner party. He kills the other spy girl,
Oof, yeah.
who was basically dressed up like she was in the Marathon Man.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Spawn fights them. The Violator sets up a deal with Martin Sheen that the bomb that has all the chemical weapons on it
That will kill most of the people on Earth.
Most of the people on Earth, but he's got the vaccine, which is blue.
Yeah.
A blue liquid. That's
Sure.
great.
It's Windex.
Yeah, his Windex is what fixes it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, a big fat Greek wedding has a whole new meaning to it. He basically attaches so that like he has a heart monitor that if his heart goes out, stops beating, then the bomb will go off because Violator wants to trick Al into killing Michael Sheen's President Bartlett.
You can do it, bud. You're almost
kills
there.
him and will release the thing because I don't know why Violator can't just set off doesn't. And then we realize that the clown / Violator has been the bad guy the whole time. Al fights him, and that's kind of the movie, right? Am I missing anything?
No.
This movie sucked so much.
Yeah.
I don't even want to, like, sometimes when we're making this show, something's so bad that I can just like kind of dunk on it. But the more that I've been thinking about this movie, the more I was just like, this was such a and the press was really like weird about this movie because obviously it's Hellspawn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people like are like, I don't know how I feel about this. This is weird. I'm not sure how I'm going to relate to this character. And I think like Spawn writ large like actually has some really interesting components to it.
It does.
In regards to like
It does.
in that whole realm and it can be interesting and there can be some virtue and morality to like the story itself.
There is.
But what they presented us was so bad that I was just like, yeah, maybe the people that were pissed off about this movie were right because not because like, oh, it has the devil in it. It's like, no, this movie sucks so bad.
It's a devil. It's not Satan. It's some other devil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
you know how we know that as an audience member? We don't. We don't. That's fun.
yeah, the thing is, I was the right age for the cultural explosion that when this comic came out because I was 13 when Spawn hit 92. And Image Comics was coming out, and I was like, got Youngbloods and Wildcats. And here's Spawn. I was like, Spawn.
And Spawn's radical. From a design perspective, in the 90s, it was just like, goo, okay.
Giant ass cape. Giant guns, big chains. Like, it was awesome. And this movie comes out a little later. It's like, okay, yeah. Here's the thing, though. They did not have enough story to build this movie.
No.
They only had 5 years of comics. That's maybe 50 issues.
I think
that was not enough time for a good movie story.
I think
because they truly, like, I read the Wikipedia. Like, what happens to Spawn? I read all of Spawn's history.
So did I.
It is nannerboats crazy.
Yeah.
What happens in this comic? But
Yeah.
just like focusing in on like the first 50 to 60 issues is like, okay, what was the beginning of this stuff? Oh boy, they really took all these elements and really try to smash them into a 90-minute movie, and that is not how this should have happened. These elements, no. I see what you're trying to do, trying to simplify everything. That did not work.
No.
At all.
No.
Especially given the technology at the time.
Yeah.
Especially given the attempt of, because Spawn is told, issue 1, we just jump right in it. Like, Al's story of who Al is, what his backstory is, what actually happened to him, plays out over flashbacks as him trying to solve the mystery of who the hell am I?
Yeah.
What happened? What am I even doing here?
Yeah.
Slowly plays out over the first 25, 30 issues. And then it's like, oh, okay. This is what's going on. This is my situation.
Yeah.
This makes way more sense now.
Uh-huh.
But him becoming Spawn is the end of the first act. And it's like, and we don't even get much Spawn in this Spawn movie.
No.
When the Spawn movie should have been a lot about Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly a Violator movie.
Yeah.
Which is the other big problem in the movie.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I gotta appreciate John Leguizamo's performance because I think he committed to the bit
he
really hard.
absolutely did.
The problem is that the script was trash,
It's absolutely terrible.
and you walk away being like, "Oh,
That was just...
it was." He wasn't.
That's
There
not
is
funny.
there's a
It's
way
just
to make
gross.
a villain compelling.
Yeah.
They just made him just like I was like, I hate this dude.
Yeah.
I hate every time he's on camera, and it is the moment when he like ate the pizza with the
Yes.
mealworms on it. I was like, you know what? No. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. That was like the last nail in the coffin for
Yeah.
me. I was like, you know what? Screw this movie. I hate this movie.
I don't need this.
This is not
There's
fun.
Just stupid fart jokes. Just stupid.
Yep.
It's all just stupid child toilet humor.
Yeah.
And it's not. It could have been creepy. Like the comic is creepy.
Yeah.
Like Violator shows up and starts like plays the devil on his shoulder for a long time, and I was like, "Yo, man, what the heck's going on? Why is this guy so freaking creepy?" And then when he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm actually like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Holy crap!"
I
But
feel like
it's
this movie
just-
would have been. This movie should have been done. Like if Tim Burton had done Spawn, I think we would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Oh,
Like 1992 Tim Burton.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it was, if anything, it like was trying to be kind of grimdark, but it didn't have the stones to really lean into it.
Well, no, this movie was PG-13, wasn't it?
I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like if they had gone
Yeah.
full R on this,
Yes.
I think it could have worked better.
Oh, yeah.
But they just like and that's kind of what you have to do when you're making Spawn. Like you can't just you kind of have to understand your subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
and like this movie had a fundamental misunderstanding of like what they were making.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
They
there's
were-
a way to do cartoony Spawn. This wasn't it. There's a way to do hardcore Spawn. This wasn't it. This was trapped in the middle of between the two of those things. Like they
This was a clear cash grab.
For me,
it hit really big. It's
I
only
guess.
5 years after
that's got to be it. Because that makes
later
me so
on,
sad.
there's like there was in 2001, I believe, there was the animated series on HBO, and that was like way true to the character. It
Yeah.
was like, whoa, this is what it should have been.
I
This
never
is
actually saw that, but I've
amazing.
heard it's great.
It's on HBO.
Oh.
When I looked for this movie, because it's not on HBO, maybe on HBO Max. Because why? But the cartoon is there, so you can go back and watch the old one.
But I also think we're living in a world in which this plays more to. Spawn is really cool in an art like an artistic format, in like a drawn or animated form.
Sure.
But when you try to make it realistic, it kind of falls apart.
Well, I think that Spawn would work now
Mostly because they could do the cape physics.
because they could do the cape physics and because of Deadpool.
Yeah,
Deadpool paved the way for a Spawn movie actually
I
working.
think they're working on one.
They should be. Spawn deserves a chance.
Yes.
Although, granted, it's 25 years, 30 years later.
And they actually have a fundamental more of an understanding of what is actually
They
going
have
on with the character.
400 issues of stuff to
Yes.
an actual lore to draw from.
Yeah.
And they could actually do a good story of take 2 hours and actually animate the chains and the cape and the eyes of the cow.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? For all intents and purposes, that costume was. Some parts of it were okay.
It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't the worst. Like I liked it. They tried with the eyes. Like they those eyes were glowing the entire time.
Yeah.
So like good. I mean they weren't moving, but like they were glowing. So like, hey, you know what? Good try.
I
Good
just
job. But
My biggest issue is that walking away from that movie, I don't understand how he's allowed to do what he's doing. I was like, you made a deal to be able to see your wife again. You got that. And from everything I know about making a deal with like an evil force, they kind of, they come to cash in. I don't know how he's allowed to just like run around on Earth. It doesn't make any sense to me. And the Violators the whole time was like, he's just like figuring it out. And I'm like, what does that mean, dude? I was like, what? I don't. Also, what happened in those 5 years? I'm interested in that. Are you? What?
And at the end, like when he's back in hell and he's fighting Violator, there's a bunch of other spawns down there. Did you notice that?
Yes. Other hellspawn.
Which didn't make any sense. Yeah. Yeah. Spawn, there's some good stuff here.
Yeah.
But it's just they made this movie way too early.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they didn't have a fundamental understanding what the story was yet.
Yeah.
Or enough lore to draw from it to be like, oh yeah, this is how we do it. We'll tease this out.
Yeah.
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 Like it's almost like Image Comics came at a time when because Image Comics was like, yeah, those were 90s comics and they were awesome.
Yes. They were the most 90s. They were more 90s than like the X-Men comics at that time.
Oh hell yeah.
Like Savage Dragon to me is the comic book character of the 90s.
Really?
Yes.
You think?
That or Witchblade.
Yes. But you remember they tried to do a Witchblade series. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I think could have worked if they just like really explained what Witchblade is actually. I think people I think a lot of these like franchises have an issue with the people involved are almost too close to their own property.
Oh, possibly.
And I think they fundamentally didn't realize that like in most people's heads Witchblade is just like, oh, that's the one with the real porny covers, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, is this porn? And so they didn't like educate people. It was like, no, this is actually really cool, and she has like a cool suit, and it's kind of like Magic Iron Man kind of crossed with Buffy the Vampire. So it's actually pretty. It's actually pretty awesome. And they didn't really educate the public on that.
No, they didn't.
And they didn't, and their marketing didn't necessarily like really help things like leading up to it. Because like every time I ever saw a Witchblade like poster in like a comic book shop, I was like, that's porn. I was like, oh, that's fun. If you want to read porn, by all means, go nuts. But you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Spawn is like, oh, that's the Satan book. Cool. If you like the devil, enjoy. Like, and I'm not saying that's not what it is, but I'm saying like there's a really like intricate and interesting story here.
Yes.
You just need to present it properly.
Well, yes. My larger point here is that I think all those 90s Image comics and stuff like that, like, I know it's 30 years too late, but like now is the time for these stories, because those of us who read them back in the 90s are all adults now.
Yeah, man.
And there's enough of the stuff where fans have grown up to be not in charge of, clearly, but like in and around enough Hollywood to be like, oh, we actually know what to do with these things now.
Yeah, dude.
We know what to do with these properties.
You could play Nightman. Come on.
Nightman.
Oh!
Well, when I was watching this, I was like, oh,
you know that's an Image character, right?
No, I'm aware.
Nightman? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That this movie felt like Darkman.
Oh, is that the character I'm talking about?
Well,
Nightman or Darkman?
there was a Nightman series.
Oh, okay.
That one of those like WGA.
Was there really?
Yeah. WGN. Sorry, the Chicago channel.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer.
He played a. There was a, what was it?
Oh,
was it a Secret
no.
Galaxy video? Yeah, he was like a jazz musician.
Oh, did he play the flute or something?
A saxophone, I think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's
Oh,
one of
boy.
those like
Oh,
weekend
boy.
shows that
Oh,
were like
boy.
trying
Oh,
to
boy.
like the Hercules,
In the
the
Hercules,
Xena,
yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Mantis, like the Mantis level.
Yes. Oh, my God. Mantis.
Nightman.
Oh, man. Or like La Femme Nikita.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Oh,
I think
my
no,
God.
No. La Femme Nikita was a step up. Wasn't that on USA?
I guess. Sure. I don't know. But that.
That level of yes.
God. What a weird little like
Andromeda. Yeah.
It was, and I felt like those kind of shows were like the next inevitable step away from like a Knight Rider concept. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what that show inevitably like morphed into.
Well, there was the Knight Rider 2000.
Oh my God, Mantis. What was it? What was that an acronym for?
For the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm sure Brian can tell us, but I don't
I'm
remember.
sure Brian can tell us.
I can tell you, gentlemen, Mantis ran for one season from 1994 to 1995 and was partially created by Sam Raimi. The last 2 episodes aired in 1997. Now, there was a 2-hour TV pilot where Mantis stood for Mechanically Augmented Neurotransmitter Interception System, but it was changed to Mechanically Augmented Neurotransmitter Interactive System for the full series. It also starred people like Carl Lumley, Roger Rees, and Gina Torres. Also, I would like to say the show that I loved watching on weekend mornings was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. It had 3 seasons. I was obsessed with it. It also included a made-for-TV pilot, and the whole thing ran from like 99 to 2002. I loved it, and I own the DVDs. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This movie felt like
It felt like that.
Yeah.
It really did. Oh my God.
there was a lot of dark.
But you know what those shows also kind of felt like the whole time? It's just porn. Do you know? Like
There were some very attractive ladies on those shows.
I don't feel okay watching this like when they're around everybody. I don't know. This feels like very adult, but not. It's very weird. It's very weird. I don't like it. Like I don't feel comfortable right now. You know, like is everyone are you gonna kiss?
Maybe.
I'm not looping like Hercules into that, but you know,
Sure.
like a lot of those other shows.
Yeah, there were a lot of those shows back in the 90s on the weekends.
I was like, what is this? Who is this for?
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know. But yeah, New Line Cinema made a lot of these, lower budget kind of superhero or like lower tier dark horse comic movies, like because Turtles hit, and I was like they kept trying, and we were still like, a decade away from actual like movie franchises coming out with Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and X-Men, but like they kept trying to
And
find a
it's
thing,
so-
and they
it's
kept
so
pulling
funny
these
to
little
me.
comics to make movies out
Yeah.
of, and
it
just
was just like we all like Spider-Man, just do Spider-Man. Like it made no sense to me for the longest time. We get comic book movies from here and there, but it was like, why is there not an X-Men movie? Is it that they knew they couldn't do it right?
I think so.
I mean they couldn't have. So that was, good on them for knowing that. But that's the only explanation I can think.
I mean, they finally did Spider-Man when they could.
Yeah,
I don't think a good Spider-Man movie could have come out any earlier than it did.
that makes sense.
Same with X-Men. Like X-Men, I think came out pretty much the first time it really could.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I think that makes sense.
All things considered, yeah.
Because like Superman, you can do Superman. You know what I mean? Batman, you can do Batman. But like there's certain,
And now we can do everybody. Now there's the only excuse not to do anybody right now is money.
Oh my God, Mantis.
So yeah, I
think we should probably fix this, huh?
fix this before we go off on the.
Let's just fix Mantis, man. Let's revamp a Mantis show.
We could revamp Mantis.
It was like, yeah, man,
He had a motorcycle, didn't he?
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh wait, no, it was the gentleman who the actor. I believe it was the guy who recently died, unfortunately, who was in the he was in the John Wick films. He was, and also
No
Horizon.
way.
I think it was him. He was the concierge.
Lance Reddick,
Yeah, I think it was Lance Reddick.
Mantis from 1994.
He was in a wheelchair, and then but the suit.
Nope, it was Carl Lumley.
Oh, okay. Does he look like?
Sort of.
Okay. In my head, it's always been Lance Reddick.
No,
Okay.
but similar voice.
Ah, okay.
Lance Reddick was really known for his
Yeah.
voice.
But yeah, there were a lot of those shows back then. There was a Marvel, there was an X-Men-esque type show back then too. That was kind of like
The mechanically augmented neurotransmitter inception system. Yeah, man.
they reached for that one.
Ooh, yeah,
Mantis.
They did. Yeah, they did. Okay, we got to fix Spawn.
Spawn.
Okay, you're going first.
I'm going first.
All right. I'm ready to flush Spawn down the toilet. Let's keep these snappy. I hated this movie so much.
Okay. So I'm gonna kick this. This is the first movie of a Spawn, of a Spawn series. We're not trying to get this all done in one.
No.
We're taking this freaking slow. That if this works,
Slow and low is the tempo.
that there will be more Spawn films.
Leave them wanting more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with my movie. It's basically a horror movie opening. We're seeing a homeless father and something like from the movie or from the actual movie. He's not beating his kid, but we can see them being preyed upon by some gang members, and then all of a sudden these gang members start getting picked off one by one.
Yeah.
Out of the shadows. Like it's a horror movie scene.
Yes.
And you hear chains and a cape flapping. You just hear a bunch of stuff, and these kids and just screaming. Echoes of screams from the shadows. As his father and son are just like, what's going? They're safe, but what? And then eventually Spawn, lightning can flash or whatever. We can see Spawn show up in the flash, and the kid who are you? Because the dad's frightened, but the kid can be like, cool, and tries to who are you? And Spawn has, I don't know. Title card, Spawn, and it's quick. It's not about a minute of lame 90s metal going down a fire tunnel.
The Spawn title card for this movie was laughable. I laughed. It was really bad.
It was bad.
But even by 90s standards.
Yeah,
it was
not good. It was not good. So the kid and the father direct Spawn towards Rat City, which is the homeless area in the alleys between. So I believe it's supposed to take place in New York City. Yeah. At least the comic did. And as Spawn enters this area, he meets up the guy's name with a hat that kind of glowed green or whatever. It was Cogsliostro.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's the guy's name, and he helps him find a spot to lay his head. And Cogliostro seems very wise and asks Spawn a few leading questions.
But also with a knowing glint that he's aware of what he is.
Yes. And we get our first flashback of Al being happy with his wife Wanda.
Yeah.
And he knows his name. He was married to Wanda, and his name is Al. It's like, oh wait a second. I just had a flashback, and then the cops show up to here. We see the flashing lights or whatever, because there were a bunch of gang members that were just murdered, and somebody called it in. So taking this opportunity, as there's some detectives, and they can have Sam and Twitch from the comics kind of be here, although they're not really a part of this movie. We can kind of allude to them. Spawn takes this opportunity with the cop cars being there to type his name into the computer and find out that Al Simmons is deceased and has been for 10 years or for 5 years.
Oh wow!
I was like, wait, what? Okay, and then he types in Wanda's name, and it's like, oh, okay, she's still alive. Oh, that address,
marriage announcement,
or that address seems familiar. I think that's where I lived, but he's not sure. So Cogliostro's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. Ooh, careful! Maybe this is all coming back. This is all new. Maybe don't go
immediately.
Don't go immediately.
Let's take it slow.
Let's take this slow. This has been traumatic. Blah blah blah. But Al's gonna go the next day. He's gonna go, and a similar scene to what happens in the movie. It doesn't have to be a birthday party, because we're not gonna have John Leguizamo in clown makeup doing clown stuff for kids. That's weird. But he's gonna show up there and see that she's married to. He's gonna see Terry, and this is going to be this is going to induce more flashbacks of, wait a second, Terry was my best friend. They're married. They have a kid. He's going to remember more stuff. He's going to go in. He's going to subconsciously, and this happens in the comic, changes into Terry, because the suit can do that. Mm-hmm. But so subconsciously he's going to do that and talk to Wanda, and it's going to be and we're going to know it's him. Yeah. And we're going to have this really, it's going to be heartbreaking. He's going to find out more about himself. Yeah. And realize that it's a loaded conversation that he's going to learn more about what happened to himself. And it's like, oh, well, it's really sad. And we're going to pick up about him working for Win.
Okay.
That was his handler guy. And so it's great. Okay, one more new piece of information plus what happened to Wanda, and it's been 5 years. Okay, great. This sucks. I still don't know what happened, but I know I was dead and I'm back and all that kind of stuff. And then when he leaves and he's distraught and trying to put all this stuff together because none of this makes any sense and how can he just be here, that's when Violator's going to show up. And we're going to get the lay down of, well, hey, you just, the deal has been struck. You saw your wife again. It's time to lead Hell's armies now. And he's like, wait, what?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I don't understand. I don't get it. And I was like, oh, yeah, because we scrambled your brains. Yeah, that's what we do. Lore of what actually happened.
Yeah.
End of Act 1. This is what actually happened. You died, and you came to hell. You wanted to see your wife one more time. You made a deal with Malbolgia, and we're here, and you did. So now it's time to leave. He's like, I'm not doing anything yet. I'm Al Simmons, and nope. I'm not. You keep telling me I have to do this, and I refuse.
Yeah, no,
There's something about me that I am going to say no, and you can't make me.
Yeah.
So
It's the whole Dresden as the Winter Night thing.
yes,
Yeah.
he still had a little agency.
Yeah.
So we're gonna flash over to the mob guy who gets a report that like, hey, this gang that we were charged of helping us do our thing with this mob war going on. Oh, because by the way, when the cops showed up, we overhear them talking about like a mob turf war going on in the city. So we have a mob guy getting a report like, hey, the gang we hired to do stuff on that for our plan, they were all murdered by some random guy.
Yeah.
He goes, oh well, it seems like the other gang is probably instituting something. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and institute our plan. And hey, dude, and just see like this, two eyes light up behind him. Yeah, go with him. And we don't see what happens, but like we know something now is in the works. Bum bum bum. Back in Rat City, Spawn is in rough shape. He's coming back from Wanda's and Terry's, and seeing that his best friend, his ex-wife or wife, the person he thought he was still married to, have a kid. Cagliostro's like, hey, trying to give him wisdom, trying to give him, just guide him through this, but it's all falling on deaf ears. And that is when a giant cyborg attacks.
I'm sorry, what?
This is the first. This is one of the first arcs from the comics.
Okay.
The character's name is Overkill.
Oh yeah.
But we're not really going to get that until a little bit later. But a bunch of mob goons and Overkill show up to like try. They're trying to figure out what the heck happened to these gang members that they hired.
Yeah.
Who got murdered or who murdered them, because it happened right in and around Rat City.
Yeah.
So they show up and Spawn's like just. Something about him, like he protects. He just nope. I gotta jump in there, and he goes and attacks. And since he's all discombobulated and doesn't know what he is, who he is, what's going on, what are my powers, what's all this stuff, like he gets his butt kicked. Thankfully, he's able to kind of draw the fight away from the people, because Overkill is like hardcore. This guy can kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
So he kicks his ass, but like gets him away from the people. So Spawn pretty much gets killed, or as they assume, we killed this guy. Oh, great. Okay, well, I guess we figured it out. This guy is probably whatever this weirdo is. I think we solved it. Fantastic. They leave, and everyone from Rat City is like, "You're the first person who's ever actually stepped up for us and like protected us. Like we gotta, because Spawn can heal. No one else knew this, and but Cagliostro knew. He knew.
Yeah.
So like everyone brings it back to Rat City. They're all like, "You're one of us. Like we're gonna help you. This is
hell yeah.
Thank you for this.
Man of the people.
Man of the people." And like there's something Al's like, yeah, this is something about this feels right, but also like what's going on? And I just got my ass kicked, and I'm okay because everything's like snapping back and everything's glowing, and like Cagliostro's like, listen, there's a lot going on here that you don't understand, and you need to take this slow, and I can help you. And meanwhile, but Violator also, at a certain point when like Cagliostro leaves, Violator shows up to be the devil on his shoulders, like, hey, I think maybe it's time for some vengeance. Maybe you should just kill everybody. Maybe just unleash the beast, man. Stop thinking about all this stuff and just lay waste to these guys. Just do it. You know you want to. We gave you the power. Just do it. But Al's like, I just need to figure out who the heck I am right now, and I have one more lead I can check on, which was Win. Because he got that from when he was at home with Wanda. So after he heals up, he goes over to Win's building, and he breaks into the building or whatever, and finds enough files about Al Simmons, brings him back to Rat City, uncovers more of his past. Like, Al Simmons, Win murdered me. Okay, now the full story of what's going on has been understands. Al kind of knows now who he is. Meanwhile, the boss is like, well, you took care of the guy who killed our gang members? Fantastic. Now we can move on to our next stage of the plan. You got to move everybody out of Rat City because we're taking over the turf and we're going to just wipe out this other mob. Fantastic. So now Cagliostro's like, hey, okay, so you know who you are now, and so like I was in your spot a long time ago, so like I know you're a Hellspawn and XYZ. A little bit of a training montage.
Cards on the table.
Cards on the table. Like I was aware, but I didn't know what type of person you were. But your actions have shown me that you are
A good person.
A good person who made a deal maybe he shouldn't have, but I'm not sure. But you actually do have a lot more agency than you think. I mean, I'm still here, and I've been here for, let's just say, a long time.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit of a training montage of just like kind of what they did in the movie, but like, we can do it a little bit better than this in this time of like, hey, you know, and you have what they're not telling you is that you have a certain amount of power from them that after you use it up, then you have no more agency. You have nothing left to fight back with, and you're theirs. So you can fight, you can heal, you can do all sorts of really cool stuff, but it takes some of your energy, and you only have a finite amount. It's a lot, but you have a finite amount.
Yeah, but if I've learned anything from the Wikipedia about the comics, they really kind of like 13 Regeneration.
Yeah, you can get more power from other places.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah. They figure out a way around that.
They do.
They go, oh, we painted ourselves into a corner on this one, fellas. Oops.
So I was like, okay, well,
A lot of people are buying this. This isn't a limited run anymore. We got to figure out a way.
if I can do cool stuff and like blast and cape stuff and chain stuff or whatever and pew 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 and all these cool things.
He's basically Hell Superman. He can do a lot of random stuff.
But if I can fight, but I shouldn't use my powers. Well, I do know a way to fight without using powers. So he goes over to Wynn's building again and breaks into their armory, one of the armories around the city, and just steals all their guns.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens in the comics, and it's 90s guns. It's, it's big freaking, this doesn't make any sense, like eraser type guns.
Cable guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cable guns in this movie because in the actual movie it's like actual like prop guns we have. It's like no, we're gonna make some Fifth Element X crazy 90 guns.
I want to shoot a huge hole through a wall kind of guns.
These are going to be insane.
Yeah.
So he steals the armory, brings it back so we can have that full on those spreads from those the Image comics are just spawn with cape billowing, just bandoliers with giant freaking guns. It don't make any sense. So Overkill and the mob come to clear out Rat City. Oh, they also show up and it's like, you have 24 hours to leave or we're going to start.
They just put a Spawn skin in Modern Warfare.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, maybe Spawn's
Would
having
that
a
be something
resurgence.
you'd be interested in?
Nah, probably not.
Oh, really? You don't want to run around wasting fools as Spawn? I'm
I'm
saying if you played the game.
Oh,
Can you
sure.
get into the fiction of the...
Sir. Sorry. I'm sorry. You didn't invite me into the fiction, sir.
I'm always inviting you into the fiction. You need a written invitation every time.
The mob shows up and says, by the way, everyone needs to leave. You just have to start paying us rent because this is our territory. So they kind of give them 24 hours to formulate a plan and figure out what to do.
Heck yeah.
So this is
Time limit.
That's what they do in 24 hours. Has the talk, raise their armory, gets ready to go. Everyone does clear out of Rat City so that Spawn can take on Overkill and the mob guys. And basically, Act 3, big giant fight. Spawn now fully, maybe not fully, but like in this movie, fully like, I know who I am. I know what's going on, and I'm choosing to do what I think is right in this situation. And I'm going to protect these people from these mob guys, and lays waste to these mob guys in brutal fashion.
Yeah.
Big fight with Overkill. It's awesome. Big guns. Everyone's shooting each other. Blah, 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 blah. Spawn eventually, they kind of fight to a standstill, but eventually Spawn, Al is a very, very good assassin and is able to outthink him a little bit and eventually is able to beat him. And then when he's done, he goes and pays the mob boss a visit.
Oh.
And it is spooky scary. And he kills this guy. It's like, shh. And then so the mob is taken care of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you think it's over, and the guy's like, his report, oh, boss, everyone's at, ah! And then, from the shadows, he just had the cape kind of flow in. It's like a horror movie moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see the shot in my head. That's like it pans out.
Because that's kind of what the comic is really in your face. It's kind of, it's pretty bloody. And
it's supposed to overwhelm.
Yeah. And now we're gonna push this a little bit, and Spawn's gonna just all right kill this guy.
It's a shocking comic. Mm-hmm. It was made to shock people.
Yeah,
And I think that's, yeah.
So Spawn is crowned the king of Rat City by by its denizens. It's like, you're our protector. No one else is looking out for us, so we gotta look out for ourselves, and you are our guy. Cagliostro's like, you don't understand. Like, you did the right thing. You protected the people.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on here
Than
you
you
have no
realize.
idea. Yeah, like Violator shows up and is like, that was good. That was so good. Yes, you should keep doing that. Yes, but you have drawn a lot of attention from everyone below. Just know that Malborgia, like, he wants you. You're going to have to lead the army soon. And
Yeah.
Spawn's like, I will do what I damn well want. Like, get out of here. I'll take you out. I'll take you out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, Violator's like, okay. It's your choice. Knowing full well that he should be able to take him at this. Violator at this point could take him.
Yeah.
Cagliostro shows up and is like, hey, great job, but you have no idea of the attention you're getting from above. There's a much, much bigger battle taking place, and you are squaw in the center of this. And that's where we leave it.
That's awesome. That's great. That's really fun.
Because then we could bring in Angela, who technically is a part of Marvel now.
Yeah.
But, like, at the time was an Image, and the Angels show up. And
Yeah.
There's more
There's
little
so
steps
much.
we could do to have this
Uh-huh.
war between heaven and hell, and realize, and because in the comics, like, Spawn's like, I don't want to be on anybody's side. Both of y'all are wrong.
Yeah.
So, kind of like what Supernatural did. Like, whoa, heaven has got some nice people, but, like, also, some of you guys are assholes, and maybe you should stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's simple. It's nothing super crazy. And Wynn is not he's not a bad guy in this. He's in the world. He killed Al, but like that can come. That's later.
Yeah.
Al's just need to figure out what the heck's going on right now.
Yes. Okay.
All right, Jay. Fix it.
Okay. My thesis statement for my fix is I am fixing. I think this movie could have made a lot more money. And I think this movie had an image problem. And I think Spawn had an image problem.
Image. Get it? Because
Yeah.
from Image Comics.
And I think also in the 90s, you're getting into a lot of satanic panic.
Yeah.
And as someone who dealt with that satanic panic firsthand in my own home, I feel like there is a way to make Spawn a little bit more palatable for middle America. And this movie could have made a lot more money.
Okay.
While still maintaining what Spawn is.
Interesting. Okay.
By showing kind of the other side of the coin. Follow me here.
I'm following.
My movie opens on Al as an assassin. He's clearly on a mission. He has his point person, someone in the shadows. It's obviously Violator, but we're not shown as an audience member, who his controller is.
Okay.
Who his point person is. And I think for this one, it's I don't think it's even the clown get up. I think it's we do a different design for the concept of what Violator turns into. I think we can see the clown later. If that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really fall in line, but I don't care. I want to make it a little bit more believable.
Sure.
And we see that we find out that he is invading the Peterson building, and there is a large higher up. Miles Peterson is the CEO of Peterson Enterprises, and they are kind of a corrupt organization.
Okay.
And basically, Al is being contracted to take him out.
Sure.
He gets up all the way up there, fights his way up. It's a cool action sequence. Yada 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 yada
We
yada.
see how awesome he is.
We see how awesome he is.
He's so cool.
Because he's so cool.
He is cool. He's very good at the job.
And inevitably, it gets to a point where he gets up to Peterson's office, and it is pretty clear from the amount of guards in the office and how Peterson's his demeanor that they knew he was coming.
Uh-oh.
And it's very clearly a setup, and we get a long dialogue between Peterson and Al about and Miles is, Al is kind of, there's a little self-righteousness to him and why Peterson needs to go. And Peterson calls into question, you're a killer for hire, and you're the one telling me that I need to die.
How are you
and-
the moral standard? Yeah.
How are you the moral standard? And Al's like giving him all the reasons, like you have all this money and you're not helping anyone. It's like you're abusing your workforce. Like you're not, like, all of these different things.
Right.
And he's just like, yeah, but like that's all within the letter of the law. Like I'm doing everything like above board, and you're here to kill me? I don't think so. But there's like a real meaningful back and forth dialogue, and it's very clear that as all of his goons kill Al, everyone in the room sees Al basically dragged to hell after he's killed.
Oh my God.
And Peterson is like, "What was that?" And he's clearly on comms also with Violator, and he's like, "It looks like he was dragged to hell." And Violator was like, "Oh, he was. Hell's very real." And then click,
Toodles.
and he's like, "Yeah, you won't hear from me again. Keep doing what you're doing, though. You're really helping." And Peterson kind of looks out, and you see kind of a question on his face. Al gets dragged to hell. We're not doing hell in a flashback. We're getting the whole kit and caboodle. He makes the deal in order to see his wife again. I also like the idea in the action sequence of him fighting his way up the building, him taking a call from Wanda.
Makes sense.
And he's trying to be casual, yeah, I got all this paperwork to do. She doesn't know he's an assassin.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that's a really fun dynamic.
Yeah. Well, True Lies, that situation.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the 90s too.
Yes, it is.
They're basically, I like the idea that he's sent back with the deal, you're allowed to see your wife, I will call you when you are needed. I think that's another thing that frustrated me about this movie is that why is he on Earth? You don't explain it. You're like, oh, he has to morph and evolve. Why can't he do that in hell? It doesn't make any sense. Great. It's your powers will slowly start to manifest. You can do what you need to do, and as soon as you are powerful enough to lead the armies of hell, you'll come right back. Go nuts.
Have fun.
Rumspringa,
Yeah, yes.
He goes and attempts to see Wanda and sees that whole thing falling apart.
Right.
And he inevitably lands in Rat City. There is I can't remember that character's name.
Cagliostro?
Cagliostro. Which apparently in the Wikipedia, if you look farther down,
Oh, I read the whole thing.
that twist is
That's a
fascinating.
great twist.
Yeah, but that's way down the road.
That's way down the road.
That's way down the road.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's good.
That's a good twist. Yeah.
Cagliostro takes him in, kind of explains to him he knows what he is, and he's like, oh, and much like in your fix, he tells him you have a choice of what you get to do here.
Yeah. You still have some agency here.
We have there's let's just say a bank robbery. There's probably a better way to write it in Rat City, and Al decides to intervene. The problem is that there is another hero intervenes while Al is fighting, and because his powers have not fully manifested, he gets confused as another bank robber.
Okay.
And I don't know why I always go to bank robbery. I know there's a more elegant way to do it, but that's just, we're storyboarding right now.
Yeah.
Another hero intervenes. It is a man in a purple and yellow full suit with a breastplate, a shield, and a gleaming blade of light. And the robbers look at each other and say, "Oh no, it's Bible Man." To reach Middle America, Spawn must fight Bible Man with the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of truth.
I was like, wait a second.
Bible Man.
Wait a second.
Bible Man
Is it
shows
still
up.
played by the guy that was in Charles in Charge?
Sure.
Wasn't that the guy?
Why not?
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, that was who it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was who it was. I did a big deep dive into that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Bible Man shows up and defeats all of the robbers and him, and as they are fighting, Al is manifesting his spawn powers.
Yeah.
And Bible Man sees him kind of recognizes him, but understands him as like a Desian of hell and must be defeated.
Yes.
The two of them fight to a point where it kind of like fully reaches that, like, it's kind of like an unstoppable force versus an immovable object.
Sure.
They kind of fall apart. And eventually Bible Man's helmet gets knocked off, and Al lowers the cowl, and we see that it is Miles Peterson, who when we get a flashback of him in the 5 years since he realized that like hell is real, and what he is doing is to help him. He like throws his old life away and uses his money and influence to become Bible Man and embrace the power of the word and teach people
The good news.
the good news through his superpowers. Yeah, look, if you want to make some money in Middle America, this is how we do it.
Sure.
You know?
Okay.
And so,
I don't know how Todd McFarlane's version of Bible Man would be.
Bible Man
would be
can't.
pretty
I think Todd
interesting.
McFarlane's version of Bible Man would be cool as hell. I think it'd be awesome. I mean, pun intended, I suppose. I think if Todd McFarlane did Bible Man, it'd probably rule. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're
Tell
wrong.
me I'm wrong.
I won't.
If anything, the only thing that made Bible Man lame was A, the name Bible Man
Yeah,
is
it's
not great.
It's not great.
B, just the production
Yeah,
value.
it's not great.
You know, I think if you change the scripts up a little bit and you kind of serious it up a little bit, I think Bible Man could slap. You heard it first, guys. Bible Man slaps. Okay, so
Spawn v. Bible Man. Here we go.
Spawn v. Bible Man. I like the idea that Bible Man is like, I cannot, like, I see what you're doing and I know who you are. I can't team up with you, obviously. Like, I can't officially team up with you,
Sure.
but I see you're trying to be good.
Right.
So like if we see each other, like, let's just try to stay out of each other's way.
Sure.
And eventually, the two of them like kind of keep running into each other to a point where, they figure out that, I'm getting ahead of myself. After their first meetup, and Spawn basically is approached by he tries to get a hold of his old handler,
Right.
and he finds out that it is the clown, it is Violator, and he's like, oh, hey, like, I'm kind of your hell liaison. I'm here to just like check in on you and see, like, it seems like the suit's working out, seems like everything's going good. He's like, why do I recognize your voice? It's like, oh yeah, like, I'm the guy, like, we needed you in hell, so I made sure you got there. And so they fight a little bit, and then they realize that, like, obviously Spawn's like, this isn't going to work out. Like, I'm going to have to get out underneath your thumb.
Yep.
And so he goes back to Rat City and is like, explains this to Cagliostro, or however you say
got
it.
it. Must be right. Yeah.
Training montage.
Training montage.
Yada. And then after he gets more powerful and gets to a point, the Violator comes back and is like, oh, it's time to go to hell. And Spawn's like, no.
No, you can't make me.
And basically Violator and him fight. Violator like starts to drag him to hell.
Right.
All the while, like, Bible Man sees that happening. And so Bible Man like basically like has to fight his way through hell in order to save Spawn.
Oh my. Okay.
So like we get like a sequence of like Violator and Spawn like fighting their way through hell, and like also like Bible Man like trying to get to him. And then we eventually get Spawn and Bible Man fighting Violator in hell.
Sure.
And the whole time just like shredding each other up. And eventually like they kick, like, they basically take care of Violator, and like whatever the big devil guy shows up, they make
Malborgia.
Sure. He shows up and sees Bible Man and Spawn, and Spawn's like I'm not under your thumb, and you can't make me do what I want to do. And however you say it, Malborgia is like we'll see. Yeah. Time works differently here. Like, we can be patient.
Yeah.
And they fight their way out of hell, and Bible Man is like I don't agree with where you got your powers, but it seems like you're trying to help people, so like we can work together. And then they like shake hands, and that's the end of the movie. Yeah, it's Spawn fights Spawn and Bible Man. That's the franchise now.
That's the franchise now.
Yep, Todd McFarlane brings you Bible Man.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's about it. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I was not. No, I was not.
Yeah. That's about it.
Wow.
Behold. Keeping it snappy.
Behold the majesty that is
Yeah, man.
Bible Man.
Yeah. The people, and that's one thing that always really interested me in the concept of like a satanic panic is
Sure.
that in stories where they like kind of like focus on the infernal, these kinds of shows are also always implying that there is another side. I'm like, well, these movies are demonic. I'm like, well, if you have a movie that's like focusing on like hell, you are also acknowledging that heaven exists. So like, if anything, this is like kind of proving this is still the flavor that you like. It's just maybe not in the direction you wanted it to go.
Oh.
Yeah, that's always what frustrated me about Dresden. Harry Dresden knows God exists, and he doesn't believe. Like, he's talked to angels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are characters in there that are like, "Hi, I have a God-powered sword," and everyone's just like, "I don't know about church though, right?" And I'm like, "I think you go to church. I think you go. I think if you know that exists,
That is an interesting concept of like empirically knowing versus the. Well, then do you believe in? Do you have faith in that?
Yeah.
Like, you can know something and not have faith in it.
Yeah.
And you can not know something and have faith in it.
And
It's the dichotomy of.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate about Sonya. He's like, there is something. I don't know if it's God. It could be aliens. Who's to say?
And
I was like, all right, that's buck wild. Dresden.
But good enough. Enough to power the sword.
And the amount of Dresden references we make for people who don't read Dresden, people are just like,
these nerds. You
sorry.
freaking nerds.
Yeah, so I just put in order to make it more marketable, because
Sure.
there's no fixing this movie. This movie just needs to get flushed. There's no. It's like, yeah.
I think Spawn.
Why not add Bible Man?
Spawn needs a redo.
I would agree.
I
would
Spawn,
agree.
We've had enough time.
They salted the earth though, so they had to wait.
And yes, they totally did. It seems like enough time has passed. It seems like there's another little resurgence coming on with some with Spawn kind of being in the
well, and the
mainstream a little
technology is finally there to make it cool.
Oh yeah, they could really make.
They could make
cool.
it awesome.
I mean, if you wanted to do another animated series, that would totally work. But you could easily do this in live action now.
Yeah,
you really could. Ryan Reynolds has paved the way for this to work.
Yes. Yeah.
And you could just take your time. Take your time and build this thing out.
Yeah. Man, the look on your face when I said Bible Man.
I was like, wait, it's yellow and purple. And there's this part of me is just like, wait a second. If you gave me like 15 more seconds, I would have been like,
I was like,
this Bible Man?
I got about halfway through the movie and I was like, I can't do a serious fix for this. Like I didn't
expect a serious fix from you.
Adam is gonna do a sufficient job of actually fixing this and doing the correct move. So I don't. It'll make me mad trying to do this right.
Because I'll be honest, this is hard.
Yeah.
Spawn's story is hard to do for a movie
because it's not relatable.
It's not relatable. There's a lot of flashbacks. It's a long mystery of especially because Spawn wants to rock and roll. He's got that. He can shred, man. He can shred. But like the way they play it out in the comics of like who is Spawn, what was the story, what's all this stuff going on. They really tease it out.
Yeah,
and that's hard to do in a movie,
yeah,
especially when it's only 90 minutes, which I understand why they're just like, hey, we're starting with human Al being an assassin, just telling it chronologically instead of focusing on the flashbacks. Like, I get it, but woof.
Yeah.
It doesn't woof.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. So, yeah. Especially being a Spawn movie, like, you want to see Spawn.
Yeah,
you want to freaking see Spawn.
Yeah,
and you can have the mystery play out over the whole movie, but you can't have because they tried to tie the mystery of who Spawn or Al's story into the bad guy, and I totally understand why they wanted to do that.
Yeah,
but like the only other option is to have the mystery go on, but not tie it into the actual plot of the movie, and have that come back in further stories.
Couldn't agree more.
But yeah, it was a tough spot, and only 5 years after the comic dropped. Like I think honestly, I think they did their they gave it a decent attempt.
Sure,
but it just it totally fell flat.
All right,
we did it.
We did it.
Did we do it? I think we did it.
Sure. I think we gave this movie as much attention as it's due.
True enough, Jay.
Wow. Here's the thing. Normally when something is so bad, I can be a good sport about it. But this one just really
You were not a good sport. Yeah.
This one just it went. Sometimes when you're eating chips and you accidentally swallow too big of a piece of chip,
Sure.
and it hurts.
Yeah.
That's how this movie felt.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. I swallowed this movie sideways. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we did it, everybody.
We did it, Jay.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening, as you always do. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell, and doing that YouTube that you do so well. And if you're listening to this on where you catch your podcasts, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star review, maybe saying something nice about the show. It makes me happy and I like to see it. And wow, it's raining really hard on the air conditioner. It's time to go. All right. And as we end every single one of these episodes, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the hell-powered sentient chains you don't see coming. The chains are really cool when
They are cool.
They are cool.
No, it's an
when
incredible
yeah.
power. It's really cool. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.